see you tonight at 11.
I know Ross Perot, I know Bill Clinton, and in my heart there's no animosity.
President Bush takes a page from the Clinton and Perot playbooks, going face-to-face with voters in the Rose Garden. A pregnant woman challenges a U.S. ban on the French abortion pill. And Eye on America, tonight, the new face of organized crime. This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening, I'm Charles Kuralt, sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. President Bush is trying to turn his re-election campaign around. Nothing else seems to have been working very well. So today, Mr. Bush did what his opponents are doing. He went on television to take his message directly to the voters. CBS News White House correspondent Susan Spencer shows us how it went.
Desperate to stop his slide in the polls, Mr. Bush today put aside his disdain for talk shows, fielding questions on CBS This Morning, the audience chosen from people in line to see the White House.
Interesting way to take a tour, isn't it?
For an hour and a half, he clung to his presidential mode, to some supporters' dismay, still avoiding any direct attacks.
I know Ross Perot, I know Bill Clinton, and in my heart there's no animosity.
Mr. Bush again blamed the economy for his plunge in the polls. As for no new taxes, there'll be no new pledge.
And I have held the line against the taxing Congress every single day I've been in there, and I'm going to continue to do it. But I'll be darned if I want to get into some other formula, so you can come back and remind me of a broken pledge. I'm not going to do that.
The audience asked about education, about jobs, about the deficit.
We're all concerned about lowering it, but can you do that without raising taxes?
Yes, you can. We've got a good program for it, and I believe it will work without the tax equation being in there.
The only real fireworks came in questions from the show's hosts, Paula Zahn and Harry Smith, a point Mr. Bush used to tweak the press.
Why is it that it's the correspondents that have the controversy about Iraq or the polls or what I want to say about Ross Perot, when the American people want to know what I'm doing about the problems?
Then again, how likely was it that people specially invited into the Rose Garden would be rude?
There are not going to be very many hardballs that are asked. They're going to be softballs. So I think in that context, it was to the president's advantage to do it that way.
Well, we don't ask as hard of questions, maybe. But we were asking good questions, so I'm not going to apologize.
It was much better because it showed that he was a real person and he didn't have to have cue cards in order to be able to deal with the people that he's supposed to be representing.
Just what the campaign wants to hear. So look for more Bush appearances in your local TV listings. And 6 months ago, it would have seemed so unpresidential. Susan Spencer, CBS News, the White House.
Another issue that came up this morning was the charge that as president in the years before the Persian Gulf War, Mr. Bush helped create the military menace of Iraq. David Martin has the latest on that in this exclusive report.
George Bush admits his efforts to establish better relations with Iraq failed miserably. But once again today, he steadfastly denied suggestions that his administration in any way helped Saddam Hussein develop weapons of mass destruction.
We did not go to enhance his nuclear, or biological, or chemical capability.
While the United Nations doggedly goes about the job of dismantling Iraq's nuclear weapons complex, Democrats in Congress are using documents from Bush administration files to show the U.S. was one of the prime sources of the money and technology used to build Saddam's war machine.
This computer printout from the Commerce Department shows more than 30 instances in which the Bush administration approved licenses to export to Iraq technology known to have an application in the development of nuclear weapons.
The Bush administration, in its drive to bond its relationship with Saddam Hussein, until several weeks before the invasion of Kuwait, was licensing the sale of items that were necessary for the development of nuclear weapons.
The license applications look innocent enough. Computing equipment for the Iraqi oil ministry, for instance. But computers are the heart and soul of a nuclear weapons program.
Computers are extremely useful in helping a country bypass a lot of the hands-on testing. You can run nuclear weapons tests on computers and save yourself a lot of time and energy and detection, because nobody can tell what you're doing on a computer.
The Department of Energy, which must approve all exports with a potential nuclear use, would recommend approval, quote, with conditions.
The Department of Energy may say, we approve this with the condition that Iraq pledge that it will not use it for nuclear purposes. That's very easy to get the Iraqis to do.
And very hard to make the Iraqis live up to.
But our own government in its own files as early as 1985 said, you can't trust Saddam Hussein. Even where he signs off that there will not be any diversion, he will divert these items to his military use.
Once the export license was granted, there was in fact no way of verifying what became of the technology. But this printout remains a prime exhibit in the ongoing efforts by the Democratic Party to uncover the full extent of the Bush administration's pre-war dealings with Iraq. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
Congressional investigators said today they have found no evidence that Mr. Bush took part in any secret deal to delay the release of American hostages in 1980. A House panel says Secret Service records show that Mr. Bush, then a candidate for vice president, was in this country when the key meeting allegedly took place in Paris. The panel is looking into charges that the Reagan-Bush campaign conspired with Iran to hold the American hostages until after the 1980 election. A Senate committee today approved the so-called Freedom of Choice bill, protecting a woman's right to an abortion. A committee in the House passed a similar bill yesterday. If the full Congress approves the legislation later this summer, President Bush almost certainly will veto it. New York's Kennedy Airport was the scene of another abortion battle today. This one had to do with a pill legal in France that's banned in this country. Giselle Fernandez has the story.
In a confrontation prearranged by the nation's top abortion rights activists, this 29-year-old woman, 6 weeks pregnant, returned to the United States today in the first step of a long-planned battle to legalize Europe's controversial abortion pill here in America.
I'm angry, I'm stressed out. I'm figuring out how I'm going to deal with having an abortion now since I can't take the pill.
Upon entering the country, U.S. Customs officials confiscated about a dozen RU-486 pills from this woman who wanted only to be identified as Leona. Authorities say they are detaining the drug because it is banned for use by the Food and Drug Administration.
The ban right now is restricting research for RU-486 for the treatment of breast cancer and for other serious illnesses. It must be limited. Eliminated and lifted.
The drug has been widely available in France since 1988 and in England since last year. It has been used by an estimated 100,000 women. It is designed to be used in the early weeks of pregnancy by altering hormone levels to induce miscarriage. It is considered 96% effective. Abortion rights activists say they hope today's incident will lead to a legal challenge all the way to the Supreme Court. But anti-abortion leaders termed the smuggling attempt outrageous.
We're appalled that they would manipulate a woman and show their extremism by trying to pull a stunt, as it were, to try and bring RU-486 into this country.
But here or not, RU-486 has already changed America's battleground for the abortion controversy. Like it or not, the unstoppable advancement of medical science may ultimately decide what politics could not. Giselle Fernandez, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, UN troops have a terrible time getting relief to war-torn Sarajevo. And why all those so-called gross toys are grossing so much money.
Your breakfast, sir. This new Kellogg's Frosted Bran is quite sensible. Crispy flakes with whole wheat and bran, lightly frosted for a taste that's delicious. I love it. I love it. And new Kellogg's Frosted Bran has less sugar than you'd imagine, but the taste... It's out of...
We've got to stop serving this.
New Kellogg's Frosted Bran, wildly delicious, sensibly good.
Defense Secretary Dick Cheney signed an order late today authorizing an airlift of U.S. relief supplies as part of the UN operation underway in Bosnia. Pentagon officials say they don't expect the U.S. material to move at least until Friday. Tom Fenton has the latest on the Sarajevo airlift.
Fighting erupted again between Sarajevo and the airport this evening, posing a possible threat to the international relief operation that has only barely begun. Citizens of Sarajevo received the first food and medicine today from French aid flights. But a people on the verge of starvation may have to wait longer for a promised flood of international aid. U.S. Air Force transports are standing by in Germany to begin an airlift of American food and medicine. If security in Sarajevo does not improve, President Bush may have to live up to his promise to use air cover and a naval blockade if necessary. But on CBS News this morning, he said he has no intention of putting U.S. troops on the ground.
We will do what we are called upon to do, to utilize whatever we have to see that peace comes to that area. But right now, we are not prepared to use those forces.
Despite the president's statement, the threat of American military intervention is taken seriously in Belgrade, the Serbian capital. Some Serbs believe the U.S. Marines are preparing to attack Belgrade.
They said we are ready to fight with them. It could be new Vietnam for your forces. They are ready.
Economic sanctions have already bitten deep. People lined up today to exchange their near-worthless dinars for even less valuable new dinars. And outside the parliament, demonstrators were demanding for the fourth straight day the resignation of Serbian President Slobodan Milosevic. The United States is now seen as a major player here. By threatening to use force if necessary to get the aid through, the U.S. has brought hope to the people of Sarajevo. Tom Fenton, CBS News, Belgrade.
CBS News correspondent Bob Simon flew into Sarajevo with the French Marines today, the only American TV reporter on the flight.
The good news for Sarajevo was in French today, as a company of French Marines marched onto an airstrip in western France, marched behind the momentum provided by French President Mitterrand. They would be the first combat unit to land in Sarajevo. A battalion of Canadian infantry was still bogged down on the road. The pilots put on their flak jackets as the C-130 banked for a quick dive over the sniper-ridden hills. Gunfire rang out as the plane made its final fast approach. The French mission? To make the airport, which has been a combat zone for weeks, a safe place for the arrival of food and medicine. Do you have enough to secure the airport?
At the moment, to create a total secure airport, certainly not.
Getting material to the airport is one thing. Getting it downtown to this shell of a city is something else. UN trucks making the 3-mile run downtown almost always draw fire. UN General McKenzie toured some of the worst-hit areas today, shaking hands and raising morale like a ward politician, dropping by a misery-ridden hospital whose windows have been shot out. But with the arrival of more UN troops, McKenzie could soon have some military punch behind his moral authority. In Sarajevo today, the color of hope was blue. Once the airport and the road are secure, relief could come quickly to the 300,000 of Sarajevo, but ground troops can't really do that. To silence the guns in the hills, you need air cover, fighter planes or helicopters, and those are still not on the way. Bob Simon, CBS News, Sarajevo.
Stay with us for more of the CBS Evening News, including a fatal shooting in a courthouse.
When you live away from it all, you don't see much TV or get many newspapers. So when you go out for the groceries, you don't make choices based on commercials or coupons. You choose based on facts. And of the 50 leading cereals, you'll find only one that's low in sugar and a good source of fiber and made from whole grain oats. Cheerios. Life isn't this simple everywhere, but choosing a cereal can be. Choose smart. Choose Cheerios.
Dear Folgers, I run a bed and breakfast. When I overslept one morning, the Folgers switch saved my reputation. The percolator wasn't even set up, so I secretly switched Folgers Crystals for the brewed coffee I normally serve.
This is delicious.
Well, the taste and aroma must have fooled them, because they were shocked when I revealed the switch and joked about sounding like one of your restaurant commercials.
Folgers Crystals, proven to surprise fresh brewed coffee drinkers.
Sincerely, Janet Turley.
Thank you. Listen, athlete's foot fungus grows beneath the surface of your skin. To cure it, you've got to get down to the root of the problem. You need Mycotin.
Mycotin penetrates the surface of your skin with miconazole to cure athlete's foot where it grows. Step up to the mic. Mycotin.
Gas pressure means pain and bloating. And the way doctors see it, your best choice for relief is Mylanta Gas. It has the best medicine for gas.
After tonight, nothing will ever be the same. Make a date for prom night. An all-new 48 Hours tonight.
Democratic presidential candidate Bill Clinton has narrowed his choices for a running mate. CBS News has learned that the two front-runners are Tennessee Senator Al Gore and Congressman Lee Hamilton of Indiana. It's believed that Clinton is meeting with the finalists and that an announcement could come as early as next week. The Clinton campaign is refusing to give odds on any of this. Iran reportedly has gone into the counterfeiting business. A congressional report says the Iranian government is turning out billions in counterfeit U.S. currency. The report says the fake $100 bills look nearly perfect and they're being spent overseas. Iran denies the report. Now from around the world, more CBS News. In Cape Town, South Africa, police fired shotguns at anti-government demonstrators, wounding several of them. The violence came as the country's main labor union called for a general strike next month to bring down South Africa's white minority government. In Fort Worth, Texas, a spectator in a county courtroom opened fire with a handgun. He killed a lawyer and a prosecutor and wounded two judges. The gunman got away in the confusion, later turned himself in to a Dallas TV station. In Washington, a public interest group says ticket reservation systems owned by airlines are costing travelers as much as $1 billion a year. The group says the systems are rigged to favor the airline that leases them to travel agents. In Raleigh, North Carolina, the heart of tobacco country, smoking is now illegal in most public places. The law took effect today. Violators could be fined $25. And for the first time, the American Heart Association is classifying a sedentary lifestyle as a major risk factor in heart disease. It says up to 30% of American adults don't get enough exercise. Coming up next, Eye on America. Tonight, Asian gangs gaining strength and spreading fear in America's big cities.
Sears 4th of July paint sale means huge savings on lots of brands. Like Weather Beater exterior flat, only $12.99. Easy Living interior satin, just $13.99. But hurry, sale ends Saturday at Sears.
You've driven these streets 1,000 times. But tonight, there's something different. Tonight, you're using Exxon 93 Supreme gasoline. For a cleaner engine, smooth acceleration, and a full 93 octane.
Let the tiger set you free.
Rely on Exxon Supreme.
Rely on the tiger.
I used to take aspirin to relieve minor arthritis pain until my doctor told me one Advil is as effective as 2 regular aspirin and is gentler to my stomach. For my pain, I prefer Advil. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
I was really downing those tablets. Come on, they're not candy. I started to think there was something really wrong with my stomach. Was I relieved when my doctor told me to try a new antacid tablet?
Introducing Mylanta tablets, shown to neutralize more stomach acid than the leading tablet.
Unbelievable.
New Mylanta tablets.
My doctor said Mylanta.
He was America's richest man, Sam Walton. Can the secret of his success help you? Find out tomorrow on CBS This Morning with Harry Smith and Paula Zahn.
A common perception in America is that organized crime begins and ends with the mafia and such mobsters as John Gotti. But as the social makeup of our country changes, so do the people who prey on their communities for profit. Now, Asian American gangs are staking out their claim, as Ron Allen reports in tonight's Eye on America.
Chinatown, New York, filled with shoppers, merchants, and filled with fear. A store shut tight, the scene of a murder. More evidence of the violence and menace just below the surface. This young mother and widow, Ying Jing Gan, saw her husband shot to death at that store. Sin Van Ta was a merchant who did something rare. He said no to the Asian gangsters who rob and extort 80% of the businesses here.
He was the person with sense of justice. He worked very hard and he did everything according to the law.
Last year on a street in New York's Chinatown, the police asked Mr. Ta to ID the Vietnamese gang members who were terrorizing his store. Mr. Ta was murdered 2 weeks after he fingered David Tai, the leader of the Born to Kill gang.
I heard a gunshot. The gunshot was so close. I just turned my head and I saw my husband fell down.
Gan is suing New York City for $5 million for not protecting her husband.
Law enforcement do not realize how much risk this individual had taken.
The case, says author Peter Kwong, shook Chinatown and represents everything wrong with relations between the police and the Asian community.
We see the community are being victimized and yet can't convince the outside world to understand, to appreciate their problems.
Because, Kwong says, like this typical jewelry store robbery, it's Asian on Asian crime, and few outside the community seem to care. But this explosion last year got a lot of people's attention. For the first time, a Vietnamese gang stepped over a racial line. Members killed 3 and wounded 11 non-Asians after taking them hostage in a Sacramento, California appliance store. And there's more.
Good evening, Mr. Gotti.
As well-known mob bosses like John Gotti fall, less familiar faces like Peter Chong, a reputed West Coast crime boss, take their place, signaling a profound change in the American crime scene.
As we succeed in destroying the traditional types of organized crime, we don't want new groups to move into the vacuum and present the same kind of a threat for the future.
But many cops say the future is here. Chinese crime groups called triads have taken control of the U.S. heroin trade. Another worry for everyone. Triads are huge, centuries-old international crime groups based mainly in Hong Kong. Hong Kong police are at war with the triads, fighting them on TV.
Avoid contact with triads. It's not worth it.
And in the streets. U.S. authorities fear many triads will move criminal operations here before Communist China takes control of Hong Kong in 1997.
Everybody has been telling us, beware of 97. Well, it's too late. They're already here.
Police say one triad, run by Peter Chong, has already taken control of San Francisco's Asian underworld after winning a bloody war that has left 5 dead. It is the first Chinese triad to consolidate power in an American city. And cops like Ignatius Chin believe Chinese Americans are especially vulnerable.
A lot of these people feel like the laws that law enforcement like I enforce really aren't for them, belong to the white people's world.
Which brings us back to Ying Jing Gan. She wanted to trust the white man's world.
I came to the United States. It's like a dream. I thought the United States was a paradise.
A paradise turned into a nightmare by David Tai, the Born to Kill gang leader. He and members of his gang were recently convicted of her husband's murder. Some say justice was done and that the streets are safer. But for how long? In New York, this is Ron Allen for Eye on America.
Draw from the facts. There's a way to maintain regularity without drugs. It starts here, a high-fiber diet, which can include Kellogg's All Bran, an excellent source of wheat bran fiber, may help you stay regular, drug-free. And there's a lot to be said for that, naturally. A high-fiber diet on Kellogg's All Bran for drug-free regularity.
More
morning breath.
As soon as I have my coffee, it's all gone.
Whether you admit it or not, it's a problem.
Okay, I have morning breath, but it doesn't bother anyone.
Don't be so sure.
Mine's not so bad.
Morning breath's not as bad as you think. It's worse. So get Scope. Its 2 powerful ingredients kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Was my morning breath really that bad?
There's no denying morning breath, so save your breath with Scope.
Last time I stained my house with that other brand. This time, I'm using Thompson's stain.
Only Thompson's House Index Stain contains Thompson's Water Seal. It waterproofs better than even the leading brand's premium stain.
Now that's beautiful protection.
Thompson's Stain.
Tears of pain, tears of joy. But when your eyes are dry, soothe them with the tears of Murine. Closer to your own tears than other leading eye drops or artificial tears. Murine, natural tears formula.
Who needs all the rigmarole?
Face it, lots of places offer new tires.
I'm not going to hand my car over to just anyone.
But only Sears has the SuperGuard 40 all-season steel-belted radials. And now they're on sale as low as $21.88.
When I get off work, Sears is still open. And that makes sense to me.
Sears SuperGuard 40, now only $21.88.
You can count on me.
Who's going to back you better than Sears?
A group called Kids Against Junk Food took aim today at commercials on cartoon shows. It said too many of the ads aimed at kids are for sugar-coated, high-fat cereals and fast foods. Some parents aren't so sure that the toys their children want are good for them either. John Blackstone has that.
Anyone who has wandered through a toy store lately might wonder what has happened to sweet and innocent youth.
Oh, I just think that's awful.
There's nothing innocent about what's filling the shelves these days.
Gruesome. Repulsive.
Toy makers seem to be competing to offer kids the most disgusting creatures with the most offensive names.
Brainiac. You can see he has extruded his head out.
Doing things only a child could love.
I don't think vomiting toys are really fun.
If this represents a decline in family values, perhaps the president is part of the cause. Since his unfortunate illness in Tokyo, toys that throw up have become all the rage.
They make you want to blur.
That's, I say, Robbie, yeah, we all do that, and that's fine, but I don't think you need a toy. You can just watch your sister, after she eats too many blueberries. Look what I made.
Toy makers say it's getting harder today to keep kids interested in the old standards. And that's made choosing toys a tougher job for parents.
There's a tremendous amount of angst about buying toys now, and people are, I have to be responsible when I buy my toys.
But even the experts say this latest trend is nothing to worry about.
Well, there it goes. You can play catch with that. What could be more fun?
Those who study child development say toys are just one small factor among very many that contribute to a child's social and moral growth. So for parents, this comforting thought: toys don't ruin children. Children ruin toys. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
That's the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather will be along with 48 Hours tonight at 10, 9 Central Time. I'm Charles Kuralt. Good night.
Experience CBS News.
This is CBS.
Next on Hard Copy, the most dangerous man in the world, the real Tasmanian Devil.
Watch out, Copy!
We're talking divorce and dating.
You've got to have sex with me.
No love, just sex. On Christina.
Tomorrow at 9.
October 12, 1492, Christopher Columbus ends the ban on tourism in the Bahamas. In 4 days, Tri-Honda's special leasing program also becomes history.
Popeye's chicken is fresh, never frozen, and cut into 8 full pieces. Now get 8 pieces for